Chair recognizes Senator Menendez on the amendment.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President and members, we have been hearing the debate, and look, I understand and I agree with an individual's right to express their faith, but just like we do here in the Texas Senate at the beginning of the day, Senator Gutierrez and I were talking about when we were in high school, there was one prayer said at the beginning of the morning before instructional class. I believe that individuals should use their personal time to pray and practice their religious beliefs. In fact, I agree. They should have that right to have religious freedom. What I don't want to see happen, and I think we've all been, those of us who served on the education committee, but we've seen after COVID how hard students are trying to capture, to catch back up, how hard educators are trying to work, how limited on the number of time and the instructional hours they already are able to spend with their students. And they have to fit so much information into a 45-minute class period. So the hours that teachers do get with their students are vital to their instruction, to their learning, so they can get the best education. Members, this amendment simply will prohibit what the bill is looking to do, religious speech or prayer, from occurring during instructional time in the classroom. We have a limited amount of time while the students are there to learn, the teachers are there to teach. I believe that taking away critical instruction time can quickly add up and reduce the amount of information. Based on the debate that we had, the back and forth with Senator Parker, we heard that this bill does not discriminate against any faith. In the Muslim faith, you're required to pray 5 times a day. In the Jewish faith, you're required to pray 3 times a day. In some Eastern Christian faiths, you're required to pray 5 times a day. So my concern is that if someone says, well, the Texas just passed a law, the Senate passed a law that I can express my religion as I see fit, anytime that I want in the class, that we can have an issue that makes it hard for our schools to teach our children. And we already have a shortage of teachers. And I think that because the most important resource we have as a state and a nation are the young minds that we need and depend, and our Constitution in this state requires us to provide them an adequate education. I think we need to pass this amendment so that we don't rob them of their time so that someone can practice their religious expression. And with that, I move adoption of floor amendment number 1, Mr. President.
Senator Johnson, for what purpose?
A question of the author of the amendment.
Of course. Of course I yield.
Senator Menendez, you've obviously, thank you, Mr. President. I apologize for speaking too quickly there. Senator Menendez, you've obviously given this a lot of thought. Have you given some thought to, if your amendment does not pass, whether prayer time should come out of trig class, English class, or art class, or PE?
Well, that's my concern. You've hit on it exactly. Look, we're not trying to micromanage the teacher, the classroom, but the school district and the teacher's supposed to come up with a plan. And our chair of education, Senator Creighton, is trying to give teachers more rights, to have more time, and my concern is that this bill, I think it's motivated out of a good place where the coach wanted to pray on the field and allowed to pray. That's fine. But the concern is in the classroom, you get a teacher that says, I'm sorry, it's time for me to pray, and they were in the middle of a discussion in whatever topic you want, history, math, you name it.
Triangles.
It's going to rob the students of their instruction.
Thank you, Senator Menendez. It's an excellent amendment. I'm hopeful that we get 100% of the senators on the floor to recognize the wisdom of this amendment. Maybe even the bill's author.
Thank you, Senator Johnson.
Senator Parker on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Menendez, you know much I cherish our friendship and enjoy so much working with you on so many topics of public policy affecting our state. But respectfully, I need to oppose this amendment. It's out of alignment with what we're trying to accomplish, what I'm trying to accomplish with this bill, which is simply to codify the Kennedy decision. As I said several times, we're not trying to expand it. We just kind of allow the courts to ultimately weigh in time. It's only been 3 years since the decision. And so respectfully, I will oppose the amendment.